Wonderful. Well, I love this. I love hearing how you're all feeling because this morning I am talking about being with our feelings and how important it is to be with our feelings and allow all of them, every one of them. And I love that you're feeling joyful. I love that you're feeling happy, and I honor all the other ways that you're feeling. It's sometimes, interesting to be together as a community when we have a real variety of feelings. But it's really beautiful that we can hold a container for all of it, and that our hearts are big enough and wide enough for that. So I do want to say that if you are feeling in any way that's challenging, that today, this talk and this focus is really about deepening self-compassion, how we can deepen and deepen and deepen self-compassion, and that as we deepen our self-compassion, we naturally, effortlessly are more compassionate to others and for others. As I said, I have a lot of friends on Facebook that are amazing, wise people. I have curated an incredible group of people that really inspire me, and I feel lucky about that. And there's one friend that I was in seminary with, and he always posts funny things, which I really appreciate. He's a minister up at Center for Spiritual Living in Seattle, and he wrote, "There's a Scottish word of the week for you if you're feeling stressed. It's called dumbfungled." Dumbfungled. It means to be mentally and physically worn out. Has anybody gone through any dumbfungledness this week? Oh my gosh, Friday night, my apartment flooded. It's all this stuff with water lately. The Hara has been flooding underneath, so we have to turn the water off as soon as service is over today. But my apartment, my spigot just started it started just flowing while it was turned off. And as tight as I would make it, it was filling up a big giant pot like every 6 minutes. And I'm carrying the pot out and I'm thinking, I can't do this all night. So I called the landlord, and they had to turn off the water, but it had to turn the water off for everyone that lives in the house and the property. So it was turning off the water for like 12 different structures. So anyway, I was feeling dumbfungled. I didn't know what the word was till I read it on Facebook. But it's okay. So we just had an election. Did anybody miss it? Anybody blissfully unaware? I know some people are celebrating because their candidate won, and I, for one, am grateful for democracy. Can we be grateful for democracy? Yay. We have a functioning democracy. And I am so grateful. There are also quite a few people that I know that are grieving, that are feeling feelings of fear, of unsafety, and worry about the direction of the country. And so, to be attuned to the one body of Christ, I am such an energy being, and I feel us all. To be attuned to that one body of God or Christ consciousness is to care if anybody anywhere is suffering. Would you agree? Yeah. Brene Brown, I really love her writing. She's got a book, The Gifts of Imperfection. And she was writing on Facebook that she's having a challenging time this week. And she said that she was in a process of microdosing hope. Microdosing hope. Okay. She wrote this. She said, "I have no access to big hope right now, but I'm asking myself right now how I can support the people around me. And that in this flood of emotions, I make sure I can stay committed to courage, to kindness, to caring, regardless of the choices made by others." She said, "Doing the small next thing right now is hard, but sometimes it's all we've got." I like that. Doing the small next thing right now is hard, but sometimes it's all we've got. And then I've had a lot of people posting a prayer for clergy that have to give a talk this Sunday. I really love that. I really appreciate that because, we're just as human as anybody else. And, we have to meet our own feelings and our own doubts sometimes and our own despair and our own staying up all night because of flooding and then still have to come and be inspiring. Thank you. But I do know without a doubt that my dharma is to water the seeds of goodness. And I have so much faith in humanity. I have so much faith in the good, in the God, in every single person, right? And I know that my dharma, my time here on the earth is to water loving kindness, water those seeds of compassion, water those seeds of faith, and honor them. And I do feel like it's really important not to spiritually bypass feelings. And this is something it's taken a while for me to really, really learn and really get comfortable with. There is so much to say for all that's earned this hair, this gray hair. And that is that I am more comfortable with just standing in what's hard to stand in, and not being in the people-pleasing mode, being more in the let's not bypass, let's not spiritually bypass. So I really feel like let's have compassion for all our feelings, because if we don't, they show up, don't they? How do they show up? In the body, right? In unwellness in the body, or unwellness in the psyche, right? So we have to be careful not to make an enemy of any part of ourselves, right? So, there can be a kind of toxic positivity if we rush to placate ourselves with a pseudo-optimism when we're not feeling it, when it isn't authentic, right? So there's a wonderful book on self-compassion. And she has a workbook I love. I used to give workshops on this particular workbook by Kristen Neff. And she writes, painful feelings are by their very nature temporary. Temporary. It's good to remember. They will weaken over time as long as we don't prolong or amplify them through resistance or avoidance. The only way to eventually free ourselves from debilitating pain, therefore, is to be with it as it is. The only way out is through. Y'all are nodding your heads. You know this is true. So a dear friend of mine that comes online, there she is, Laura. Good morning, Laura. I really appreciated your question. I wrote a newsletter and she sent me a question wanting clarification. She wanted me to clarify because I recently stated a teaching from Eckhart Tolle where Tolle said that if we're feeling worry and anxiety, it's too much future and not enough presence. In the same way, if we're feeling unforgiveness and resentment, it's too much past and not enough presence. And I love that teaching, and that teaching is true. But it's also congruent with the importance of feeling our feelings, because we need to bring presence. We need to bring that presence and that compassionate awareness to our worrying mind and our emotional body. And we need tools to skillfully deal with our emotions, to meet them, to calm them. They're like crying children. That's what Thich Nhat Hanh would always say, that we want to take their hands. They're like crying children, and you can't just offer them a concept, right? You can't say, oh, too much future, or too much past, right? Like if you take your little 4-year-old grandchild to the playground and she's playing, having a great time, and then she falls off the monkey bars and scrapes up her knee, and she's crying and she's outraged and she's hurting. You can't say, "Oh, honey, yeah, too much past," right? That pain is in the past. You have to pick her up and you have to hold her. You have to kiss her boo-boo. You have to get out your Disney princess Band-Aids and put a little Band-Aid on that. And as you hold her, she'll soon forget. She'll soon forget. And she'll be back in the present moment, and she'll be happy, right? But you have to hold her, right? No concept will do. It reminds me, one of the things I've been seeing shared a lot that I really love, because I love these precious books that are teachings, is that book Winnie the Pooh. Maybe some of you have been seeing, they've been sharing this one page from Winnie the Pooh that I love. I remember Winnie the Pooh from my childhood. It was written in 1926, and it's by A.A. Milne. But I love this page. Can I have you be your inner child as I read you this little childhood page, book from your favorite book, page from your favorite book? Okay, so listening from your innocent little inner child. Piglet, said Pooh, Yes, said Piglet. I'm scared, said Pooh. For a moment there was silence. Would you like to talk about it? Asked Piglet. When Pooh didn't appear to be saying anything further. I'm just so scared, blurted out Pooh. So anxious, because I don't feel like things are getting any better. If anything, I feel like they might be getting worse. People are angry because they're so scared and they're turning on one another, and there seems to be no clear plan out of here. And I worry about my friends and the people I love. And I wish so much that I could give them all a hug. And oh, Piglet, I am so scared, and I cannot tell you how much I wish it wasn't. So Piglet was thoughtful as he looked out at the blue of the skies, gazing between the branches of the trees in the 100-acre wood and listening to his friend. I'm here, he said simply. I hear you, Pooh, and I'm here. For a moment, Pooh was perplexed. But aren't you going to tell me not to be so silly, that I should stop getting myself into a state and pull myself together, that it's hard for everyone right now? No, said Piglet quite decisively. No, I am very much not going to do any of those things. But, Pooh said, I can't change the world right now, continued Piglet. And I'm not going to patronize you with platitudes about how everything will be okay, because I don't know that. What I can do, though, Pooh, is I can make sure that you know that I am here, and I will always be here. And I will be here to listen and to support you, and for you to know that you are heard. I can't make those anxious feelings go away, not really, but I can promise you that all the time I have breath left in this body, you won't ever need to feel those anxious feelings alone. And it was a strange thing, because even as Piglet said that, Pooh could feel some of those anxious feelings start to loosen their grip on him. He could feel one or two of them start to slither away into the forest, cowed by his friend who sat there solidly next to him. Pooh thought he had never been more grateful to have Piglet in his life. Yeah. The greatest thing that we can give each other is true presence, is our loving awareness and our presence. There's a wonderful mantra I learned from Thich Nhat Hanh many years ago when I was in retreat with him. He taught us 6 mantras of loving speech, and the first one was, darling, I am here for you. Darling, I am here for you. Such powerful words. And it's so different than immediately responding with, well, let me tell you the time when I felt that way, right? Does anybody do that? It's so different than somebody trying to fix you right away. You know, they're going to fix you. It's just being quietly present as a friend, right? And to honor that each one of us has our inner wisdom. We'll find our way. We know that wisdom will arise, but we just need someone to hold space, right? And to just bring love and caring and not fixing, right? And not wanting us to snap out of it, right? So as a spiritual community, we really aspire to be this kind of place for all of us, that we all feel like we're spiritual friends, and that it's a place where we don't need to fix each other, right? And we certainly don't need to judge each other, but we do need to hold each other. We need to hold each other close. And we need to hold a space of empathy for each other. There's a book, Dr. Sue Johnson wrote a book called Hold Me Tight. Just love that title. And she wrote, suffering is a given, but suffering alone is intolerable. Yeah. So no matter what's happening in this world, I'm determined to come here and be with you all, and sing with you, and pray with you, and open our hearts together, and weave the fabric of unity and love. We'll just keep weaving that fabric. Oh, yes, we will. I saw a quote from Ram Dass I loved. One of my wise friends shared this week. This is so good because this reminds me of a talk I wrote a while back, and it was bold. It was bold to write a talk like this. So Ram Dass said, I've been asked many times whether this is the Aquarian age, and it's all just beginning, or if this is Armageddon and this is the end. And I have to admit, I don't know. Wow. And he went on to say, whichever way it goes, my work is the same. Whichever way it goes, any way that it goes, my work is the same. And then he said, my work is to quiet my mind and open my heart and relieve suffering wherever I find it. Isn't that perfect? That's how I feel, that my work is to quiet my mind, open my heart, and relieve suffering wherever I find it. That's the Bodhisattva vow, right? And I see you all nodding. That's your vow. I know it's the vow of your heart. You know, and to me, it's like taking the lens and widening it. I think sometimes we just zoom in on, okay, this is dangerous, this is bad right here. We're zoomed in on it. But when we take and we widen out that lens, we see the bigger picture and we see the impermanence. We see what the falling leaves are teaching us, right? Everything is impermanent. The one thing that is permanent is change, right? That governments come and go and countries come and go. And this young country was a country. It was the country for Native Americans for centuries before it was ever discovered by Europeans and called the United States, right? So our life is impermanent. It's a brief flicker. Eckhart Tolle says it's a dash. Our life is the dash between the birth date and the death date on that tombstone, right? It's a dash. It's just a dash. Everything will end, right? This world of form is of that nature that things will dissolve into the unformed and they'll be formed again. So we can't control that, and it's a relief to just surrender to that. Just go, I don't have to control things because I really can't, But what is ours to do? What is ours to do? That's where I return to what Ram Dass said, my work is to quiet the mind, open my heart, and relieve suffering wherever I find it, right? Sometimes we find the suffering in ourselves, and we can't leave ourselves out of the equation, right? We have to relieve our own suffering with no judgments and no shoulds and nobody's advice and opinions, with just compassion, right? Thich Nhat Hanh, I quote him a lot. He said, having a spiritual dimension in our lives does not mean escaping life or dwelling in a place of bliss outside the world, but discovering ways to handle life's difficulties and generate peace, joy, and happiness right where we are in this beautiful planet. So we can help each other generate peace in simple ways, just with quiet presence, like Piglet, like with that mantra, darling, I'm here for you, right? I have all the time in the world. You don't need to snap out of it. When my mom passed, I read so many books on grief. I felt like I could have written a really good book on grief, and maybe someday I will. But I really, the one thing that all the books said is take as long as you need. Do not rush the process of grieving, of your feelings. So bye, Catherine. She had to leave early. So I would say that now, that we don't have to hurry up. If you're feeling grief, you don't have to hurry up and get over it, or any of your feelings. Just be with them with compassion, right? There's another great book I love, Anxiously Attached. Have you heard of that book? Such a great book. It's by a therapist, Jessica Baum. And she says, all our feelings need to know they matter. All our feelings need to be heard. All our feelings have a right to be acknowledged. She describes how we can heal the wounded little me with our inner nurturers. I like how she encourages inner nurturers. And that's basically what I describe as bringing loving awareness to our inner child. So what would your inner nurturer say to you? Anybody? Relax. Relax. Now, this is really the good wisdom. I want to hear what your inner nurturer would say to you. This is the good wisdom. I need you. Oh, nice. Trust. I love that. Be still and know that I am. Yes. All is well. All is well. Rest and eat healthy food. Thank you, Jesse. From the wise sound man himself. Oh, okay. Peg said that. Thank you, Peg. Yes, whatever. Yes, type it into the chat and tell us what it is. We want to hear from you. Run is great. Yes. Run. Dance. Swim. Recalibrate. Reintegrate and recalibrate. Yes. Beautiful. When you're ready, remember what you can do. Yes. Focus on what you can do. What was that? Breathe. Yes, that's one of the best. Breathe with awareness of breathing. Squeal? Squeal. Oh. You know, I don't know if my inner nurture has ever said squeal. I like that. Talking about Piglet. That's a good one. Thank you, Patty. Anything else? Laugh. Yay. Smile. You're surrounded by love. Right. Yes. You are good. Yes. Keep your heart open. Keep your heart open. Let it go. See, I've got chills. This is a God of your being, every one of you that's speaking. These are your words. Love yourself. This is the advice we need. Yeah. Dance it out. Run it out, dance it out. Sing. Yes, absolutely sing. I love that. Well, thank you all. That's come to unity. Thank you. I was waiting for that. Okay, I can go on now. Yeah. Listen more to. Listen more than you talk. Okay, yes. Exactly. That was Piglet's teaching. One of the mantras that has helped me from her book, Jessica Baum, is, I will be okay no matter what. That's so good. I love that. I will be okay no matter what. You know, and that is really true, because the deepest I, the I am, is eternal being. And I will definitely be okay no matter what. But that helps calm the nervous system. I will be okay no matter what. And she talks about, think of somebody that loves you, like really the unconditional loving person in your life, if you can think of someone. Like for me, it was Big Om, my great-grandmother. She was the unconditional love. She always told me I was the apple of her eye. And I could just hear her voice, you know, telling me it's all these things that you have all spoken today. She would tell me one version of that all is well. We can say to our inner child, hello, little me. I am here to see you, to hear you, and to help you. Whatever you need, I am here. And we want to remember our inner nurturer with all this wisdom you've spoken today. It's not here to fix, but to be present and offer love. So we can get skilled at really loving ourselves. It's a lifelong journey. And that means that we bring safety if there's fear. We bring safety if there's fear. That's what that inner nurturer does. All the things you've just spoken are the things that bring us a feeling of safety when there's fear. We need to bring acceptance if there's been shame or resistance, and bring comfort if there's been pain, and bring togetherness if there's been abandonment or loneliness. Bring togetherness. So in closing, I just thank you all for sharing your wisdom. You know, let's be here for each other, and let's be here for ourselves, and let us accept and love ourselves well, and carry on and focus what is ours to do, and shine the light that is ours to shine. Thank you all. I love you all. Namaste.